welcome to our week 2 class at the Well. It's health class. We're going to be talking about nutrition today. So we have a small class today. So we're just going to kind of talk and first of all, we were getting feedback on food journals. What were your guys' thoughts on your food journal? Oh, does everybody have a pen? Something to write with? Because I have more. You're gonna need to write.
Got this one. I said out my left, got mine first. I left my pen.
Here you go. Pen. What were your thoughts on the food journal?
Good, I love it.
Okay, what,
I got
was
to
it
fill it out.
revealing?
Well, after the Bojangles, I was feeling sleepy.
Oh, that was interesting. So you wrote down not only what you ate.
Yeah, when I got home, because I didn't take it with me, but when I got home, I wrote down everything.
Okay.
And I was honest.
But we were good with each
Yeah.
other about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So you were on this road trip together.
Mhm.
Uh-huh, oh man.
That's
That's
awesome.
So we were good with each other and
We even got Miss
Miss
Doris on board.
Yeah.
Right, that's good. And that's what this group really is about too, is about praying for each other. And did you find that affirmation that we did helpful at the beginning on how God sees us and, you know, and reminding ourselves that we're loved not just for what we look like, but for who we are. So I thought that was pretty powerful. How about you? Insights into your food journal?
I did good this week,
Okay.
I think.
Any insights at the end of the day after you recorded how you felt?
No, just one day,
Yeah.
and that was Tuesday.
And what was?
That was horrible.
We took my husband out to Golden Corral, and we
Okay.
decided to take a little walk over to Walmart, and it just all just came out of us.
Yeah.
Look, trust
Every
me, the
end that
people
you
in
can think
Walmart
of.
was glad we left.
Wow. Really?
Yeah,
So
each
So-
and every one of us was like,
And
we
it
had
was like,
gas,
we're
bad.
feeling some digestive upsets
oh,
from
yeah,
overeating
real
at Golden
bad.
Corral.
Really
no, we
bad.
don't. There, it's all on tape.
honestly, it wasn't really so much of overeating, it was just, I guess, what we had.
Well, it can be food combining too, because
Yeah.
I mean, you have a buffet up there, and there are certain you can choose from anything, and there are certain foods that when you combine them with other foods, they produce digestive upsets.
And they produced a
So-
whole lot.
See, I had a,
Yeah.
well, I had a steak. I cut the fat off. I don't like the fat.
Okay.
But see, I ate the fat.
Uh-huh.
I love the fat.
I like the fat too, but that's all right. So Golden Corral and a bunch of different foods created some
I had the same plates.
digestive upsets
But
for
the thing is,
you
it's
guys.
only that.
Really?
Because I can go to the other one and I'm fine.
Then it makes you start thinking about, you know, how long has that food been sitting there? I don't know.
But I even got 2 other people on the diary thing.
Okay,
I got Miss Doris that works here.
okay.
She's on it now. I got a book for her, gave her a book. And my 18-year-old, she even doing her book now.
Okay,
So
Great.
I'm still working on the other one.
okay,
I've
that's
been
all right.
subsidizing with my Pepsi. I have an addiction with Pepsi. And
Okay.
Well, I did. Not that I don't have
I
fair
was gonna say,
diet
you
anymore.
stopped it there for a while though. You
Yeah, I
did
probably like have
really
one
good.
or 2 here and there,
Yeah,
but not as bad. But
Yep.
normally I'm subsidizing with the fruit
Compared
smoothie.
to 6 a
There
day,
you go.
she doing real good.
that's great, that's great.
No,
And-
it's normally a 12-pack a
Yeah.
day.
Wow. And cutting back slowly on sugar is gonna help you be more successful, because sugar is like a drug. It almost has a dopamine effect on your brain. And if you go cold turkey, your body's gonna talk back to you. It's gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna be
25
like
grams.
going through withdrawal symptoms from
Well,
a
see, I didn't
drug.
cook. That's what you said. She asked me, am I going through like withdrawals, like migraine headaches? I didn't get none of that.
Really?
None.
That
and
is
I was a
amazing.
But
bad
you were
drinker.
drinking a lot of fruit juice too.
I wasn't drinking
Didn't
no
you
fruit
drink a
juice.
lot of orange juice afterwards?
No,
No.
I did water.
She did the water with the
Yeah.
fruit in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, that's good. That's what I'm drinking right now, some lemon water, so. Well, that's really interesting. I'm glad to know that, you know, the food journals were helpful. I encourage you to keep it up, especially as you know, start, cleaning up your diet a little bit. You should see some, you know, some progress.
And I also started, I done stopped doing a lot of fry. Now, normally when we have pork chops, I normally fry it.
Mm-hmm,
But last night, now my youngest daughter, she wanted fried, so I was not gonna argue with her. But me and my other daughter, we did baked,
Uh-huh.
and now I'm doing baked like with the chicken
Okay.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
Whereas though I was just like I have to have fried, but
Yeah.
it's fine baked, and I'm using I think it's olive oil.
Olive oil?
Yeah, I got
it's a
the
good
tall
fat.
can of it,
Good.
and I layer the bottom, not layer it, but you know,
Put
like
some
a
on the
thin
bottom.
coat,
Uh-huh.
thin coat on the bottom, and I just put my meat on top
Yep.
of it. Oh my
Yep.
goodness,
You
that
It
got
is
was
the
so
one
good.
that goes in the fridge.
Season
Huh?
it.
You got the one that goes in the fridge.
What?
She has the 10.
The tin can, the can,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, and when I do fry, I use that
Yeah.
instead of
Good.
you know,
Yep.
other oil. I even did French fries, some homemade French
Yeah.
fries, and oh
Just
my
think
goodness.
2 months ago you weren't cooking at all.
That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. Michael Pollan says you can eat as much junk food as you want as long as you make it yourself. So, because the theory behind that is it's going to take you, you're not going to eat it as much.
And I'm
'Cause it
using
takes
real
effort.
butter. I'm
Good
not
for
doing
you.
the margarine anymore.
Good for you. Good for you. Just a bunch of chemicals in it. So I realized that we had a lot of fill in the blanks. So that's why I'm gonna write stuff down as we talk and give you guys time to ask questions and stuff too, since we're a small class today. I thought this was interesting. We're gonna look at our culinary history. I know it has really nothing to do with nutrition, but it does. And last week when we talked about eating more mindfully, that all really has to do with nutrition too. So did you know that most food habits are in place by the time a child is 5 years old, which
Wow.
I thought was really interesting. So think about when you were younger, what did your evening meal consist of?
No, with my grandmother in the evening, it depended on the day of the
Mm-hmm.
week, because like on Sundays, it was like fried chicken
Sunday dinner, yeah.
and fish, and those big Sunday
Yeah.
meals.
Mhm.
And then like either Monday and Tuesdays, it was fend for yourself.
Okay. Yep.
And then like on
Leftovers.
cold days, it was like maybe some kind of soup,
Okay.
or some
Yep.
soup and grilled cheese,
Okay.
things like that.
So.
And then it was a lot of homemade biscuit stuff too.
Yep,
Homemade
bready
biscuits.
stuff, yep. How about you guys? What's your evening meals consist of?
I was in foster care, basically, they had this schedule. Friday
Okay.
was every day pizza.
Mm-hmm. Look at the calendar and know what day of the week it is.
We had a Monday was salad night.
Yep, okay,
Trying to think of all.
yep.
I foster care, so I don't remember everything.
How about you? What was your?
Pretty much like Raconda.
Okay,
We didn't have money, so it was most nights, anything that they made had a loaf of bread next to it.
right.
Because you
Right.
ate bread with every meal,
Yep,
no matter what it was.
yep.
Bread and rice.
Yeah, that was, remember that
beans.
food pyramid from years ago where,
Beans.
bread and rice and pasta, they were all the basis of our eating habits. And we were supposed to eat 6 to 9 servings of that a day.
Because
So-
see, I coordinate my meals on how my grandmother did it.
Mhm.
You have to have a starch and a green and a meat.
Well, then
That's how
that,
and that's how I do my meals at home. A starch, a green, and a
Mhm.
meat.
yep, that is very sensible way to organize your menu, so. So who, if anybody, taught you how to cook?
My grandma.
Grandma,
My grandmother and my mother-in-law.
okay? How about you?
My foster mom.
Yeah? That's awesome. Was emphasis placed on family mealtime other than Sunday? Or was emphasis placed on family mealtime other than Sunday?
Holidays.
Holidays, okay,
Holidays.
yep.
Sundays and holidays.
So it wasn't a regular sit down every night as a family
Oh, yeah,
together
in my
and enjoy a
family,
meal?
yeah.
Was it? Yes, okay.
Every
Yep,
night.
Yep, okay.
Sit down, watch TV, that's what we did.
No, wasn't no radio,
No.
wasn't none of that. You sat down at that table. Only way you get away from that table is if you was working, late for school,
Yep,
or you was sick.
okay.
Otherwise, you was at that table.
Good. I think that's really great, and you're kind of an anomaly. There's not a whole lot of families that still believe that. So the next fill in the blanks are, so what are some of the things taught at the family table? So I've got here, the first one is good manners.
Yes.
And portion control is another one.
Pretty
And you sit and watch the adults in your life learn how to push back from the table. And this is a big
pretty
one,
funny.
and I think in this day of video games and TVs and all that, I think the art of conversation
Yeah, that's,
is lost.
since I've been able to do meals, you know, we do it as a family and phones are put up. Phones
Yep.
are not brought to the
Yep,
table.
that's great.
No TV,
Yep.
you know, I mean,
So
and it's
why,
good.
why do you think it's so hard for us today
Electronics.
to, well, even to eat together as a family in our society today? Why do you think that's so
Schedule.
difficult?
Because you got kids with after-school programs, you got some parents that have to work late,
Yep,
and then sometimes you got both parents out of the house, so it's just the kid, you know?
yep.
Yeah, I don't
It's-
have my son. He's with his dad, and his dad's somewhere else in the house, and
Yeah.
Hunter's on his own. So.
Yep, yep.
So I was pretty much scheduled,
So-
but see, we make it a point, look.
Challenging to get to everybody together. You're right, we are,
But
we
don't
live
get
in
me
a,
wrong, some
crazy
nights,
society.
like in the middle of the week, we will get our little, I got little tables now that we can sit and we'll
Yep.
sit and then we'll watch a
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
But we still conversate, you know, but
Exactly.
we still eating
Yep.
together.
Yep, good. Okay, question number 2. Many Americans eat and the acronym, what do you think that
SAD
acronym
diet.
stands for? The acronym stands for the Standard American Diet, okay?
Can we
This-
put that in?
This diet really is very high in, the next one,
Sugar.
processed
That's what I grew
foods.
up on.
And lots of
Dinners and
lots of unhealthy fats and sugar. Yeah. And refined grains. Okay? Oop. So refined grains, and we're gonna play a little game after we're all done with this, because I have examples. Oh, my card thing fell down. I've got examples of carbohydrates. There are 2 different kinds of carbohydrates. There's simple carbohydrates,
Processed
and,
refined.
yep, and there are complex carbohydrates. So, we're gonna play a little game when we're done, and we're gonna put them in the right category. And some of them are tricky. So, anyway, the next thing is all of these fats and sugars we're hardwired to crave them. So I'm gonna start over here. So we're hardwired to crave fats and sugars and salt. The problem with processed food, though, is that our bodies don't recognize it as food. Let me put the next one. Did you know that the average grocery store has over 45,000 products? Most of them are highly processed food-like products in just one single store. So the problem with processed food, and for the sake of this discussion, we're gonna say that an ingredient with more than one ingredient, or no, with more than 5 ingredients is probably a processed food. So more than 5 ingredients is probably a processed food. So most of the processed foods are chemical concoctions that have been manufactured in a processing plant. So, I like this one. The problem with this chemical processing of our foods is that our bodies haven't evolved yet to recognize it as food. And so we're putting things in our body and it really doesn't know what to do with it. So that is why we're having all these issues with our health, with diabetes and high blood pressure and congestive heart failure and cancer and things like that is kind of all related to our diet.
Would that come from living in a food desert too?
Yes, it can, because you are pretty much relegated to eating what you can find within a couple mile radius. And if you're not finding fresh, access to fresh foods, then absolutely, you're pretty much subsisting on processed foods, which is, you know, why Baltimore came in here and said, you know, we need to change the food culture in this area, and I'm so happy they are. So the lesson here is if it came from a plant, eat it. If it was made in a plant,
Don't eat it.
don't eat it. Yep. All right, question number 3. When we use the term whole foods, what do we mean? Actual nature-produced foods with one single ingredient. That's the first one.
Natural sugar.
So, yep. Yeah. Well, and some of them are, yep. So here's a whole list of things, and I wanted you to write them down because I want you to have access to it. It's kind of a little list. But the first one is plants. The first blank there under
It's plants.
plants, then animal products. Animal products.
Animal products
Sorry.
is one blank.
Yep, animal products is one blank. Yep, sorry. Seeds and nuts. Seeds is one. Nuts.
Is another.
Yep. And then fruits. And we're going to talk about fruits because fruits have nutrients and fruits have fiber, but they also contain a natural sugar. And if you are a diabetic and you're, you know, having tons of fruit in your morning smoothie, it might be counterproductive for you. But we're going to talk about that. Next one's beans. Okay, beans, yep, beans and legumes, same thing. And whole kernel grains.
Okay, so beans will come next
Okay.
to beans.
Beans and, so we've got plants, animal products, seeds and nuts, fruits, beans, and whole kernel grains. Foods basically that have not been.
What was
commer-
supposed to be foods with? I think
Foods-
that's where everybody's getting
Right here.
their stuff
Okay.
with. Foods with.
Fruits, beans.
Yeah, it includes plants, animal products, this is how I wrote it down. Animal products, seeds and nuts, fruits, beans, whole kernel grains.
One foods is one ingredient.
Yep.
It includes animals.
And it includes plants.
I'm gonna put plants, that's what I'm missing.
Okay, and of course, plants, we all know means what?
If it's
Plants, when
grown
we say
from-
plants.
If it's grown from something?
Yeah, well, the first one, under whole foods. Foods with one ingredient, it includes plants. What does that include? Pretty much everything we just had for lunch today.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna actually pull up my little piece of paper and start writing smaller. Okay. So question number 4. Really the reason we are talking about nutrition more this week is because without adequate nutrition, that's the first blank, T-R-I-T-I-O-N, without adequate nutrition and hydration from water. Yep.
You go, Stacy.
I was gonna say Diet Coke, but I
Yeah.
figured out.
No Diet Coke. No.
And it's not just about adding this stuff in, it's about removing stuff too. And we've already talked about, you know, flours and sugars and the chemical gunk because it really does kind of slow our body down, yeah. So the next blank is your body won't have the fuel it needs to get out of, and I put struggle, S-T-R-U-G-G-L-E, struggle gear. It gets bogged down with damage control. So that's why you don't feel good. When you're not eating right, how apt are you going to be to feel like exercising? I mean, most people don't feel like exercising, and then that affects how you sleep that night, which affects your stress, and then you start all over again. So, all right, so your energy is the next one.
When you're in damage
Energy,
control, your energy.
E-N-E-R-G-Y, energy. and digestion.
Wait a minute. Your energy,
Digestion.
blank, digestion, mood.
Your energy, digestion, mood, and focus. And sometimes I think we forget how important our digestion is, really. I mean, think Golden Corral, you know, and all those different kinds of foods that you ate. So that's interesting.
All the different gases.
Yeah. Yep. So now we're caught in a vicious cycle. Okay? So poor nutrition equals low, what do you think? Equals
Energy.
low energy, which equals poor
Performance.
sleep habits, which equal added stress.
I was gonna say which equals attitude.
Right. Yeah.
What
So
was
I,
it?
yeah, so,
Added stress.
yep, low energy. So, all right, let's go on to some little nutrition tips. So, I think you will find this interesting. I hope you do anyway. So make little decisions each day that contribute to your health.
Health.
Yep.
Why do you make it sound like it's easy? Why aren't we just doing this stuff?
I
I
know.
don't know.
It is-
Let's do it.
And it is
Let's
hard.
sign a contract and just.
Well, and
Wait,
quite
is there a
honestly,
signature thing at the end here?
our society doesn't help us at all.
No.
You know, when I went into Walmart today, I was bombarded with everywhere I looked, chemically
Cupcakes.
processed food. Yeah. You really have to search for it. It's there. But,
It's all on it in the.
ooh, and we're going to talk about
I
that.
was gonna say.
We're
the
gonna talk about
grocery
shopping the
store,
edges.
yeah.
Yep.
That was all
So,
around the outside.
Yes, yes, yes.
Don't go in the middle.
Okay, so the next one is there is no magic pill.
I wish.
Yeah. And isn't that sad?
There's a magic word.
There's not a magic diet. It really needs to be a lifestyle change.
The Bible.
Yeah, well, and that's why we kind of last week talked about bringing God into this process and some verses that hopefully encourage you, especially that one from 1 Peter. I thought it was good. So it's an evolution, not a revolution. So eating clean, and you might have heard the term before, clean eating. It basically talks about whole foods. And what's a whole food again? Usually one single ingredient. And what's our definition of a processed food? If it has more than 5 ingredients, it's probably a processed food. So clean eating is not a, what's the next one? Diet. Okay?
Lifestyle change.
Yep. And we're not going to count,
Calories.
nope, no need to. Because we're giving our bodies the nutrients that it needs, and our bodies will tell us when it's full and satiated. So we
That's
don't
my whole thing.
really need to count calories. When you're eating, you can eat as much of like all the stuff, the
Just
fixins
make
that we
better
had out.
choices.
You can eat as much as you want.
And that's what I've been doing the last 2 months. I've just been trying to make better choices beyond the Diet Coke. That's,
Sure.
That's a slow process. But I have lost 12 pounds in the last 2.5 months.
Good for you. And how did you do it?
I've just been making better choices.
And you know what?
Now,
It's-
and it hasn't been all the time. I will admit that.
That's
Pop-Tarts,
all right. That's
But-
all right. We were talking about kind of an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, I try and eat clean. 20% of the time, I eat what I want. So, and I think if you aim for that, otherwise, if you start saddling yourself down with rules, you're gonna feel guilty. And you're gonna get to the end of the day and you broke some of the rules, and how motivated are you gonna be the next day to get up and do it again? You're not. But I think, I love that quote from John Maxwell that we used last week. You won't change your life until you change one thing you do daily. And I think that's where it starts. Make a daily, and it's not just every day. Sometimes it's,
Right.
every hour, every minute. Oh my gosh, I wanted to get into the sweets. I was actually working on this, and I was kind of agitated and stressed out, and my computer was acting up, and I found myself in front of my refrigerator. I'm going, what am I doing? So I eat when I'm stressed, but it's like, okay, you know what? I shut the refrigerator door, I put on my tennis shoes, and I went for a walk. I thought, I just gotta back away from the refrigerator. So those are little things that, but you have to be conscious about it.
Yeah,
And
just
sometimes I
say-
gave into it, but
I'd say if it takes you more than 15 seconds to decide what you want to eat, you're not really hungry. It's
that's exactly
walk away
right.
from an hour and then come back.
That's right. Good advice. And we talked a little bit about that last week, just eating mindfully. Like after we got done eating the milkshake, you know, that chocolate cake was back there. And I said, you know, take a minute to just check in and say, do I really want to eat that now? Is my body telling me? You know, some of them said, yeah, it is, but others, I think it's just being aware and not just doing it mindlessly. So, that's good. All right, so number 2, are we on number 2? Okay, drink
Water.
H2O, yep, water. Water's the nutrients our bodies need in the greatest amount. It aids, here we go, digestion. That's why it's good to drink a glass of water before you eat. And it aids in elimination. Okay, if you're constipated, probably need to drink
Go to
some
go,
more
go
water.
down.
And quite honestly, eating more fiber in your diet in the form of plants will go a long way in helping us in that department. Some of us don't realize the amount of calories we consume through beverages, and we've already talked about that. Most of us get 10 to 15% of our calories from soda. So, and we already talked about replacing our water with like a spa water, and I love that. So we're gonna jazz up, we're gonna jazz up our water with like cucumbers, and what's some of the other things that you put in yours? Yeah, fruit. You said you put some fruit slices in your water.
Yes, it's very, very good.
Yep, I got a lemon in here right
And you
now.
know what? There's also a recipe that will help you stop drinking more soda too.
What's that?
I think it's ginger, some vinegar. I forgot what it
Apple
was.
cider vinegar?
Yeah.
Yeah? I drink some
like
every
apple cider
morning.
vinegar. I
You
actually
drink it every
mine.
morning?
I drink a glass of apple cider vinegar. Not a
does
whole
that
glass.
do?
I put a glass of water and I put about a tablespoon of apple cider
Do you
vinegar
put
in.
honey in it?
I don't, because I don't need it.
Do you put cinnamon in it?
I don't
or
put anything in it. No,
What
I think
does
cinnamon
that
has
do?
to do with it.
oh,
The apple cider,
I had IBS
Don't
symptoms
you
for
look.
years, and it has really aided in the healing of my digestive
My
tract.
grandmother used to tell me to put, and I did for a long time,
Yeah.
but I used to put honey and cinnamon in it too.
Yeah, to get started with it, I get it so that it's not overpowering. I fill up enough, it's
You
enough
gotta
water in
watch
there.
taking that too because it destroys your teeth.
Well,
Do I look like a honey? I don't have any more.
yeah, anything
more
that's
than-
extremely acidic, you just gotta use good
A little
dental
bit of-
care and stuff too, so. All right, let's look at number 3. Aim to eat the rainbow. Okay, and let's talk about that. Every day. The more colorful and darker, the vegetables, the more nutrients it contains, okay? So let's talk about examples. Green, what are some green veggies that we could,
Kale,
kale,
I like
good
kale.
one,
spinach,
spinach, all that, great.
Broccoli.
How about something in the yellow-orange family?
banana, no, squash.
Squash,
Orange.
Spaghetti
carrots,
squash.
yep.
That's orange though. Carrots are orange.
Yeah, yellow-orange, yep.
Any of the
How about red? How about in the red
Tomatoes.
department? Tomatoes, yep. Red peppers, we have that. How about in the purple department?
Eggplant.
Eggplant, and I threw in blueberries and plums and stuff too. Okay, let's look at number 4. Sit down to eat. We are a society that constantly eats on
The go.
a run or go, absolutely. Yep,
Run over.
yep. Eating for us is seen as a consumption of calories rather than a time of communion with others. So we talked earlier about the importance of sitting down to a family meal and the benefits it provides. Is it easy?
Inspiring families.
Nope, it's not easy. I have a couple of suggestions for you, and I know some of you have kids and stuff too, but I think you can involve your kids in cooking too. Like this meal that we put together today, my 6-year-old granddaughter helped me shred carrots on the big
Wow.
box grater. And so we get the kids involved. They can wash the vegetables, they can set the table, they can go out in the yard and pick some spring flowers. I mean, light some candles, make it it doesn't have to just be a Sunday thing. It can be, we can do it more often than that.
We got
So,
one set up the table, one of us set up the, well,
Yep.
mostly. We all share in the cooking,
Yep,
and then I'll have somebody set the table,
Yep.
or, just
that's
so
good.
we
That's
all
part of
involved.
being a family. It's everybody helps and pitches in with the cleanup too.
Yep.
All right,
I
let's take.
tell them if I cook, y'all clean up.
Yep. Okay, let's look at number 5. Take it with a grain of.
Salt.
Yep. Let's talk about salt. Do you know that 85% of the sodium in our diet comes from processed foods, especially canned soup? They're very, very high in salt, and
Noodles.
Yep. So, and of course that affects your blood pressure, and so learning how to cook and stuff will be helpful too.
What did you say, 85%?
85% of the sodium in our diet comes from processed foods. Okay, number 6, include healthy fats. And we started talking about olive oil,
Olive oil, 6 now.
avocados.
Yeah,
Yep.
85%.
And we're gonna, here are some examples right here. Avocados are the first blank.
On 6.
Yep.
No. Fats is the first
Yeah,
one.
fats is the first one. Include
Okay.
healthy
Then
fats in your diet.
avocados.
And examples of healthy fats. We kind of talked about this last week. So avocados, the next one is nuts. Did you ever see a walnut? If you look at a walnut half, if you really look at it, do you know what it resembles? It resembles
Avocado.
a brain. That's exactly right, a brain. So that is really, really, and if you cut open a carrot, you'll see a round circle in there and it looks like an eye.
Eye.
So it's really amazing how God kind of set it up so that the foods in nature resemble where the things that they do for our bodies, the additions to our bodies. Okay, you talked about olive oil. You've been cooking in olive oil. That's another healthy fat. And here's another one. We talked about chocolate last week being healthy, but it's dark chocolate, not milk chocolate. Dark chocolate has antioxidants in it, actually, and the darker the better. And the last one is fish. I know some of you don't like fish,
It's not that I don't like fish, I just I'm allergic.
oh, you're allergic to fish.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So you can't eat crabs either?
So eat
I know.
nuts.
It's just fish.
Just eat
Yeah.
nuts then. And
So-
avocados.
Avocados.
there you go. You like avocados. We've already established that. Okay, the next blank is saturated fat. And where does saturated fat come from? Mostly from animal products. Okay, saturated fat is not the cause of our current health crisis, all right, which we were led to believe it is. The real culprit is, what do you think? Without even seeing me write it down, what do you think?
Processed?
Nope.
Government.
Starts with an S. The real culprit is government. I love it. Yeah. The real culprit is.
Come on, girls, you know
Come on, you know it.
My
S
brain's
U
Sugar.
G
Sugar.
A R. That's the real culprit, and it is in everything. Everything. All right.
Your leg's going too. Look at that.
Huh?
Everybody's legs going? Mine is.
Are you getting antsy? All right.
I'm
I
just
have
all
anxiety.
anxious. All
You
of
have
them
anxiety? Yeah.
All of us do.
Do you really? Is there anything that I can? Is this contributing to your anxiety? No. Okay. Good, I don't wanna be the contributor.
No.
All right, I'm gonna use one more sheet. All right, let's go on to number 7. All right, I find this really helpful. We kind of touched on this earlier. Before you go into the grocery store, I want you to make a
List.
menu. And the next one is a list. That is my killer when I go into the grocery store and put in, the next one is grocery store. Or in your case, if you sit down to the computer, Baltamarket.
Yeah.
All right, and the next one is shop the edges. Edges of the store, that's where most of your Whole Foods are found. That's where you're gonna find your fruits and veggies, and you're gonna find your dairy, and you're gonna find your meats, and you're gonna find your breads. That whole middle aisle, or that whole middle section is full
They
of
are
processed food, most of it. So,
don't.
the other thing that I have found, well, my battles are won and lost in the grocery store. If it doesn't go in my cart, then it doesn't come home with me, and I'm not tempted to eat it. So, if I can make a list and stick to it, and not bring my kids or my husband along, because extra things get thrown in. I'm serious, it can derail your, oh, thank you. Starting to get a little, thank you,
It's
thank
how
you.
you hold
Paying
it. It's how you hold
Thank
it.
you.
That's
how
how
I-
driving
how I
school
hold it?
too. That's how you hold
Yeah,
it.
probably I'm not holding it right. So shop the edges, shop alone. And the last one was take advantage of
Coupons.
Baltimore, well, yeah, if you got coupons, let me just tell you though, that the coupon manufacturers, a lot of them are put out by the food processors, and so a lot of the coupons are for processed foods.
Right.
I mean, I had a whole conveyor belt full of food, mostly Whole Foods, and the clerk said, "Do you have any coupons?" And I said, "No." I said, "When you start handing out coupons for broccoli, I'll have a coupon for you." But most of the stuff that I had there wasn't a coupon for it, you know?
ShopRite does have some.
Do they?
On their front pages, yeah.
Yeah,
They are good about that.
are they? Okay.
I have coupons for broccoli.
No, well, but maybe for some healthier for you
For healthier
choices.
foods, yeah, on
Oh,
the
so
front,
$10 off.
the super, yeah.
Yeah.
The super coupons and stuff, because I always take advantage of that and for the meats.
Okay, yeah, there you go. All right, number 8, we're gonna be label readers. And we're gonna concentrate mostly, they're so confusing, and the FDA is changing them by the end of 2018 to reflect more of the hidden sugars, for one thing, that are in there. But number 8 is read labels. Avoid foods that contain some form of sugar in the first 3 ingredients. And ingredients on a food label are put in from most ingredients to least. So if the first 3 ingredients are sugar of any form, and I'll read you off, there's really tricky ways to get around saying sugar. It's probably best to keep it right there on the shelf, so.
Dextrose, glucose.
Yeah. So, this is really interesting. We touched on a little bit last week about just the amount of sugar. The American Heart Association recommends that daily amounts of sugar for women are set at, this is amazing to me, 24 grams. Okay? That is unbelievably low. Most of us have tripled that by lunchtime.
Darn, I already done
Yep. Isn't that amazing? So 4 grams of sugar, how many grams of sugar do you think equals a teaspoon? 4 grams of sugar equals 1 teaspoon. So if you look up at a product and it has more than 8 grams of sugar in it, and every label or every product has to tell you, I would probably keep it on the shelf. And I have an
This
example.
got 25.
25? Yeah. Yeah, isn't it, it's just amazing to me. I think I told you the story last week of my mom having her glass of orange juice every morning. And she was having problems with spikes and dips in her blood sugar all day long. And, you know, I said, Mom, give up the orange juice in the morning and eat something. She was, you know, toast and cereal, as I grew up on that. Orange juice, toast, and cereal was my typical breakfast. So she gave it up, and she started eating steel cut in the morning, and her blood sugar levels stabilized. Because as soon as you drink that sugar, it goes right into your bloodstream. Yep, it doesn't have, your stomach doesn't have to do anything to digest it. So it's not working on digestion, it just goes whoop, right to your bloodstream. So that's why we need to watch that, so.
Look, there goes the orange juice.
Yep. So what are some other names for
Okay.
orange juice? Or not for orange juice, for sugar. Let's name a couple names. I didn't write them on there, you're not gonna fill them in. High fructose corn syrup is one.
Mhm.
Cane juice, glucose, sucrose, invert sugar, barley malt, brown rice sugar. Means they're
Ways
getting
of saying sugar
ways of
without
saying
saying
sugar. Right, it's forms of sugar in your food. There's all different kinds of ways that they can say it, so.
Is that on here?
No, it's not on there, I just throw it out, so. All right, let's go to the next blank. Where are we at?
Ounce glass of OJ
Beware
equals-
of non-calorie.
Where
No, we're up at.
No, we're on number
1
8.
ounce glass of OJ
Oh,
equals.
22 to 24 grams.
22 to 24.
Yeah, I would be, how much was in,
I think this is 28.
22 to 24.
okay,
28 grams.
how many ounces is that? Is it 12 ounces?
This is
16.
10,
Was it
okay.
10 ounce?
So, about a cup of orange juice usually has 22 to 24 grams of sugar. All right, let's look at the big one. Let's
Soda.
look.
We're
No,
non-calorie.
we're not even looking at soda. Non-calorie artificial is the next blank. Artificial sweeteners. Research suggests that switching to artificial sweeteners does not lead to weight loss. For reasons yet not well understood, they can trick the brain. Next word is trick. Trick the brain with a reward of sweetness. And remember that artificial sweeteners can be 200 to 700 times sweeter than regular sugar.
So what about the sugar substitutes?
That's what we're talking about, these sugar substitutes.
Like,
The only one,
equal-
stevia might not be as bad because it's a plant-based, but things like Equal and Sweet and
Sweet
Low and all that, yep, they,
What about True? Is that what it's called?
Stevia
Truvia?
is good, you said?
huh?
Stevia is good?
Stevia, it's made from but you're not gonna find it in, stuff like diet drinks.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find that in there. And why does it do it? It stimulates, the next blank is craving. Stimulates a craving for more sweetness. Here's a fun fact I just read this week. Each daily 12-ounce can of diet soda is associated with a 41% climb in obesity rates. I thought that was staggering, 41% climb. Unbelievable. And then we talked about the addictive
Regular
properties.
sodas does that too.
Huh?
It's not just the diets, it's the regular sodas too.
Oh,
But
yeah.
diet is even more.
Yep,
Diets even more?
Yeah, because they got the sweetness.
yeah.
The sugar
Well,
substitutes.
And the other thing is, when we are drinking a diet soda, we're not concentrating on our other food choices. We might go into McDonald's and order a Big Mac and French fries
And a big diet soda.
Yeah.
and a big diet soda. That's exactly right. And so we're not consciously thinking about it. We think we've gotten by
The
with,
diet
you know,
soda is more worse than a regular soda.
I think so.
Some people.
I think so. My daughter and her husband went to England a couple years ago and they got a Coke and they took one sip of the Coke and they went, wow, this is really weird. And they looked at the can and it said sugar on it. If you look at our Diet Cokes, our Cokes are mostly made from high fructose corn syrup. It tastes different than the sodas in England. They make it with just plain sugar. They have a lot stricter laws about foods in
I don't
Europe
think so.
than we do. Yeah. So, and we talked about the fact that sugar has almost a drug-like effect on your brain. So, almost like dopamine. It really does. Your body
That's why I
craves it.
said,
And-
Coke got Coke in it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
used to.
Yep,
Mhm.
Yeah, I know.
For the cocoa leaf.
yep.
Due to sugars.
So due to sugars, addictive qualities, start cutting back, and the next one's gonna be slowly. Now, if you can do it hardcore, I mean, cold turkey, I applaud you, but it's,
If I can do it, she can do it.
yeah,
I can't cut anything cold turkey.
yeah. I think sometime, remember, it's
I'll
an
give her
evolution,
that vinegar.
evolution.
Detox you off that one. I got the recipe right
Well,
here.
Yeah. If you do it and make it part of your
Trigger
daily
something
habit
else.
after a while, and that's why it's best to do it slowly, because for one thing, it's gonna be a shock on your body,
Yeah.
usually, when you stop something like that. It's gonna be a shock, but
That's why I thought
best to go slowly. Okay, number 9, let's look at number 9. Don't buy foods you see advertised on TV. That's the first thing. Because only the big food manufacturers have an advertising budget. When's the last time you saw an ad for carrots? I mean, the one thing I can think of right now is those little cuties, those little oranges.
Mhm.
You know, they're doing that. Avocados from Mexico, they got a,
With a bag of peppers.
oh, yeah, those, yep.
Well. okay, I'll go back
Don't
into
buy a
the-
food that makes a, this is the next blank, health claim. That's your first key that it's probably a processed food. Remember all those low fat, low sugar foods? Well, they're full of processed stuff. So, more than 2/3 of food advertising is spent promoting processed foods and alcohol. 2/3 of advertising budget, so. Okay, the last one, number 10, eat breakfast. Yep, we're gonna talk about that, I think we're gonna talk about that next week. A little bit more, I'm gonna bring in some samples, I think, of good breakfast. I also have an induction burner, and I would love to make omelets with you guys next week. So,
At lunchtime, that's good.
yeah, we'll do it at lunchtime, yep. I mean,
You got something to cook on, right?
Yes, I do have a little
Mandy,
induction
we need a
burner.
kitchen.
I know it.
Make that a memo.
It's been
Oh,
one
hey,
for
we
quite some
got
time.
the agenda list in there, remember?
Oh yeah, we gotta put that on the
That we
agenda.
put the
Okay.
agenda list.
There you go.
We started an agenda list for you guys.
Oh, gosh. To add to our 20.
I know. God can do it. Okay, so why do we need breakfast? The answer is because
Is
we
the,
are
what is it? Oh, brain food.
we are breaking a fast. We've given our digestive system a break for 10 or 12 hours, and now is our opportunity to fuel our bodies.
You know what? I never look at it. Breaking a fast. Break fast.
Break fast. Remember we used the illustration last week of going on a long road trip, and we talked about, do you remember that? And about how
Road trip.
if you were going to leave on a road trip, you wouldn't go to the airport and put diesel or airplane engine fuel in your car. You wouldn't pull up to McDonald's and put processed oil in there. Same with our bodies. It needs fuel in the morning.
Well, we had
So-
lunch. We did lunch. When we left
Yep.
Friday, we did lunch, because it was about that
We did
time.
sandwich driving down the road.
That's great. That's great. So it's our first opportunity to fuel up our bodies and give them the nutrition that they need to get us through the morning.
Alright.
Okay.
Fuel up.
It's-
Fuel up our
To give
bodies.
We are
bodies
breaking
the
the
nutrition.
fast. It is our first
It'll need,
opportunity
yep.
to blank up to give our bodies what?
Yep, nutrition. The nutrition it'll
Fuel.
need to tackle the challenges of the morning.
And nutrition.
Yep. And some of those warning signs that our body didn't, I love Lindsay's illustration last week. When you put
Oh,
Whole
yeah.
Foods down there, your body knows what to do with it, and it assigns a place for everything. When you start putting food-like substances, like processed foods down there, your body's not quite sure what to do with all that stuff, and it starts, trying to fit things in different places, and then stores what it doesn't know what to do with in the liver. And then the liver says, I don't know what to do with this stuff, and so it makes fat cells, and it supports it and holds it in there. And that's another reason why it's really important to make nutrition in the morning a priority.
Start ordering.
We're almost done. Okay, so-
You got something on
Angie's
there.
got it.
Oh, okay.
Is she here?
I don't know.
Someone
Don't
said
think
the
Angie's
Doris was
back.
here. Oh.
She didn't go with Miss Doris.
Okay, last, part of
Let's just
10.
finish up, we'll finish up, it'll have to wait, Angie should be here.
What does the typical American breakfast consist of? And we kind of talked about that. What does it consist of typically? Orange juice,
Orange juice,
processed
sugar cereal.
cereals, yep. So processed food wreak havoc on our blood sugar. Okay? Absolutely. Setting up a series of drops and spikes. Drops and spikes all morning long. What our bodies really need for breakfast is a combination, and this is important, and we're going to talk about this next week, protein. Give me an example of protein.
Nuts.
Nuts are protein. Yep, what else? Protein examples that you would have for breakfast.
Yogurt.
Some, yes, Greek yogurt, I think higher in protein. What else?
Cheese.
Cheese?
Eggs.
Eggs. How about like some sausage?
Sure.
Yeah, good, all good. Okay, healthy fats is the next one, fats is the next one. And complex carbs, and that's where we're gonna go right now, a minute. Complex, we're gonna give a definition of complex carbs, okay? These are going to help us feel full and satisfied all morning long, so those are the last ones, full and satisfied. So that we're not reaching for that muffin by 10:30. So, awesome. Okay, so what do you have to do now? You have to go somewhere?
Baltimore.
Oh, you have to do Baltimore Market? Okay, well maybe I will save our little food game for next week. Mandy, what do you think about that? Save our carbohydrate food game, because I have
Oh,
examples
yeah.
of both. I can save it for next week,
What do you
'Cause-
girls think?
because you
Did I
guys,
just hear Angie walk through the door?
yes, she did. So, why don't we do it next week? And then
Okay,
maybe more
sounds
people
good,
will be
sounds
here and, because we're kind of running. Okay, what would you guys like to see for the last class next week?
Last class already?
Yes, well, yes, because I'm gonna be gone,
already?
I'm gonna be gone I'm gonna be gone the week after that. So next week is my last class
Lisa
with you.
DePriest is coming in on the 4th week to do
Yes.
another drug education class.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yep. So if we had one more chance, these are some of the things that I was thinking about.
I think we should set a personal goal.
A personal goal, you want to do that?
I will set a personal goal that I will drink a glass of water for every Diet Coke.
Oh, all right.
That's how I got
I'm
the
not
detox
giving it
water.
up, but I'll drink one.
Okay.
for one.
There you go, you're gonna be peeing all the time.
Oh,
already
yeah,
do,
that's-
I
yeah, I
already
did have
do.
some, I had to pee a lot.
Yep. So that's
right.
awesome. But what I would like you to do too is go through your cupboard and look
I
at
see
food.
that.
Go through your cupboard and look at food, and let's report back on, I'd like you to clean out your cupboard. If you've got stuff in there that is not serving you, dump it. But we'll talk about that next week. The other thing
I'm
I was
trying to
thinking
think
about
of-
is thinking about breakfast. I was gonna bring you in some healthy breakfast options. I have a great recipe for a really healthy pumpkin cookie that is great in the morning. It's got lots of good stuff in it, and you can just pick it up and go out if you're in a hurry. I was gonna bring in stuff to make an omelet. I'm gonna bring you guys in some steel cut oats.
Did what?
Steel cut oats. It's the oat kernel that's just been chopped up. You have to cook it for a little bit or soak it the night before and then cook it for 10 minutes. But it's so much better for you than even instant oatmeal. So I'm thinking about doing that, and I can make it taste really good. So I was thinking about bringing a crock pot of that. I was also thinking about bringing in a rotisserie chicken and cutting that down and showing you how you can get 3 meals out of a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
You know, just practical things like
Chicken
that.
salad.
So that when you're sitting at the computer for Baltimore Market, you have options other than what's there calling to you from the flyer. So, Anyway, we'll think about it.
Thank
and
you.
I
That
appreciate
was
it.
fun.
You guys sign in?
Love it, love
Yeah.
it, love it. Yes, we
Does
did.
anybody have any questions?
No, it was really good.